all of my otaku friends, my name is Prof Otaku and welcome back to my channel and welcome to my manga collection video for 2022. This is the 100th video on the channel and my very first video is a manga collection video, so I'm super excited to show you guys what I've collected in the last year and a half. For those of you that are new around here, I am a college professor by day and otaku by night, so if you enjoy seeing a grown man taking his physical hard-earned paper money and turning it into weeb money, then I highly recommend you subscribe to my channel. But this is not just a manga collection video, this is also a 2,000 sub celebration thanks to you guys, and also a huge announcement. Not only have I become an affiliate with Right Stuf Anime, but I've also become a digital partner with Right Stuf Anime, where we will continue to do collaborations in the future. And today is the very first collaboration. Right Stuf Anime, Yen Press, and Kaiden Books have sponsored a giveaway on the channel. So Right Stuf has provided me with 4 manga to give away to you guys, all volume 1s. First up is Uzumade, Our Maid is Way Too Annoying. The next manga is Shed That Skin, Ryugusaki-san. The third volume is The Fiance Chosen by the Ring. And the last manga is Run on Your New Legs. So those 4 volumes will be part of the first package that will be given away to a US winner only. However, I know there are international people that want to participate, so in anticipation of that, I will also be contributing a $25 gift card to your choice that is open to both US and international people, so there will be 2 winners in this giveaway. So how can you enter this giveaway? Okay, you gotta do 3 things for me. Number 1, you've got to subscribe to the channel. Very important. Second, you need to like the video. It takes you 2 seconds, but it really helps me out. And third, I want you to leave me a comment down below with the hashtag RSGiveaway, and I want you to tell me one of 3 things you can choose. Number 1, your favorite thing in your manga collection can be anime, manga, or merchandise. Number 2, what are you most excited to see in the Right Stuf summer sale? Or number 3, tell me something about Hatsune Miku, like how to get into her Vocaloid world, because I really want to like start doing her stuff and I just don't know where to start. This giveaway will be open for 10 days from the publishing of this video, and I will also do a separate video announcing the winners. I highly recommend that you follow me on Instagram because that is the easiest way for me to get in contact with you if you've won. However, when I do release the video announcing the winners, I will also be putting my email address in there as well, so you can also email me saying that you've won. So again, thanks so much to Right Stuf, Yen Press, and Kaiden Books for sponsoring this giveaway. It is great to have them give back to the community, and we can give back to them from buying from them. I highly recommend using my affiliate link. It really helps the channel out. Let's get started with the manga collection video. Okay, so let's start right here. We have the Akira box set. I'm so glad that this came back into print right when I started collecting manga. Probably the nicest box set in my collection. But a very close second is Pandora's box itself, Pandora Hearts box set, released by Yen Press. Super cool. And last but not least, we have the Tokyo Ghoul Re box set. All right, moving down the shelf, we have GTO The Early Years, volumes 1 to 31 complete. First 10 omnibuses released by Tokyo Pop before they went defunct. Vertical picked up the last 5. This is the prequel series when Onizuka is in high school. And then we have GTO 1 to 25 complete by Tokyo Pop. This is Onizuka becoming the greatest teacher in Japan. Continuing on with some more GTO, we have Bad Company. This is the Japanese volume. This is a spin-off, actually. This is a prequel to the prequel. This is when Onizuka is in middle school. We have GTR right here, which is a spin-off, more focusing on the other main character, side character guy. And last but not least, we have GTO 14 Days in Shonen 1 to 9 complete by Vertical. Very out of print. This is a side story based on one of the main arcs in GTO. This whole set is very much out of print. Onizuka is my favorite main character of all time. He is fantastic, and it blows my mind that there are over 50 volumes of GTO based stuff. So yeah, great set to have. Next up is my Naoki Urasawa stuff. This is 1 to 10 of Pineapple Army. This is the first work of Urasawa's that was released in America. These are the Viz comics that were done in the 90s. So there are 10 of them, and then this was actually compiled into one Takabon volume, but I don't have that. But if you are looking for an interesting Naoki Urasawa work, episodic in nature, then definitely check this one out. You can get it relatively cheap. Monster 1 to 18 complete in the omnibus editions. I have read all of this. My first Naoki Urasawa work I ever read. Is it overrated? I think it is. Is there some stuff in there that shouldn't be in there? I think there is, but the antagonist is great and the story is really, really cool. Next up is a one-shot by Urasawa, Muji Rushi, The Sign of Dreams. This is part of the Louvre kind of manga that was put out with a bunch of other mangaka creators. So we've got Cats of the Louvre, and the JoJo's guy did one. So this is Urasawa's one. This is pretty unique, pretty different. Not the best thing in the world, but if you are looking for something with the Louvre, definitely check this one out. 20th Century Boys, volumes 1 to 22. And then 21st Century Boys 1 and 2. Fantastic Naoki Urasawa work. Love the mystery. Love the world. And it's my second favorite Urasawa work of all time. Next up, we have some self-prints here. We have Billy Bat 1 to 20 complete. I have read this. This is my favorite Naoki Urasawa work of all time. And my number 3 manga of all time. GTO is number 2. If you don't know what Billy Bat is about, I highly recommend you check it out. Think conspiracy theories and changing of history. Really, really unique. Cool to see historical events being played out in Billy Bat. Next up is Happy, volumes 1 to 23 complete in these omnibus. These are also self-prints. This is Naoki Urasawa's tennis manga about a girl who is in a lot of debt, and she's trying to pay it off by playing tennis while supporting her family. Very, very good series of Urasawa's. Highly underrated. Highly recommend you check it out. It's really cool to see him do a sports manga. Right here we have some super gems in my collection. This is the guidebook from 2016, going through some interviews and also some other stuff like artwork and everything that Urasawa has done. So this is pretty cool. And then also right here is one of my most prized possessions in my collection, hardcover edition of Naoki Urasawa's art book, and it is absolutely beautiful from like 2008. Very, very hard to find. I'm glad that I got both of these imported from Japan. All right, we're on the last part here. This is Naoki Urasawa's Sneeze. This is a short story compilation, and it has some of his older stuff and also some new stuff. This is not something I would recommend somebody start with Urasawa, but definitely a nice thing to have on the shelf. There's some really, really cool stories in here. Next to it, we have 1 to 8 of Pluto. Probably his most underrated series, I think, in terms of conciseness and an overall just gripping story. This is definitely in the top 2 for sure. I love that he took an arc from Astro Boy and just expanded it and just took a different twist with it. It's just so unique, so great. These are coming back in stock. Highly recommend you pick these up. Up here are 2 things I actually made myself. So this is NASA. This is a self-print of his early short story collection. This is really, really good. I actually found this to be really funny. It's more comedy based. This is before his thriller stuff started going on. So this was really, really cool to read. Another one shot that I put together is Dancing Policeman. This is 7 chapters long, and it's basically about a policeman just going around trying to help the city out. It's kind of funny, definitely an interesting read, and really a different side of Urasawa I didn't even know existed. Down here we have Master Keaton volumes 1 to 18 complete. This is the only Urasawa work I have not read yet in my collection, and it's actually co-authored with the same person who did Billy Bat, so it's the same duo, at least for the first part of it, and then he leaves and then Urasawa takes it out for the rest of it. This is episodic, spy, thriller type of thing, so I'm definitely excited to get into this one. Last but not least, we have Asadora volumes 1 to 5. This is up to date. I've read all 5 volumes. Definitely a slow burner, but it is still very interesting. I do like the characters, and I think that this is really unique compared to all the other Urasawa stuff on the shelf. So yeah, definitely worth a pickup. So like I said before, I do want to show you guys all the aesthetic things in my room because I just really like the way that it all turned out. So I have One Piece box set 4 poster. We have the Dragon Ball original poster. I have a glass painting of the Wall Titan that my friend painted for me, one of my co-workers at the anime store that I work at. I have the Steins Gate Zero art cards here. And then I also have a canvas of the AOT manga that I got at the Boardwalk in New Jersey. Right up here we have the Tokyo Ghoul wall scroll with the Ken Kaneki voice actor for English, Austin Tyndall. So this is really, really cool. We have fan art of Deku, kind of like the Superman, Clark Kent type of thing. We have a Deku figure. We have the Assassination Classroom box set. Watakoi Shrine. Watakoi BAM edition. By the way, this one is going for like $250 to $300 as of recording this video, which is absolutely nuts. This is the Japanese limited edition volume 11 childhood variant. So I know a lot of people got the Kinokuniya one, but I stuck with the Japanese one. And so this comes with the Japanese volume 11, and it also comes with the OVA of the third OVA of the anime, which is pretty cool. Also, we have the Barnes & Noble's exclusive one. And then back here, we have the art book. I did a unboxing and a flip through on my channel. Highly recommend you check that out. And we have some Spirited Away chopsticks down there. So let's get started with the Shonen Jump stuff right here. So first up here we have Assassination Classroom volumes 1 to 21 complete. This is the little full color yearbook showing all the different covers from Shonen Jump that were in here. I have not read the manga. I have watched the animated completion. I cried like a little baby. So when I need a good cry again, I definitely will watch this or read this again. Next up is Bakuman volumes 1 to 20. Two guys making manga in Shonen Jump. How ironic. Same duo who did Death Note and Platinum End. I have not read this one yet. I heard it was super text heavy. I've had this since 2019. I really just need to get on this one. Next up is 1 to 12 of Beat the Vandal Buster. This is the same duo who did Dragon Quest: The Adventures of Dai. Right now it is actually still ongoing. It came back in Japan. Whether we will see any more in English is to be determined, but they just stopped doing it after 12 because one of the creators was sick, which is too bad. I have not read this yet, but definitely one on my radar to read. Continuing with the shonen, we have Black Clover volumes 1 all the way to 29, so that is up to date. I will read 29 soon. I am up basically through 28, and here is the volume 1 Loot Crate edition, which is super cool. What do I have to say about Black Clover? Look, if you don't like the anime, you don't like the voice acting, I highly recommend you check this out. I love the artwork in here. I like that how concise the manga is and how the pacing of it just continues to blow my mind. It's super action-packed. I love the characters, I love the magic system, and I think everything is just super well explained. So yeah, Black Clover, definitely one of my favorites. Okay, moving on to the next shelf here. I want to show you guys some of the accessories. We've got One Piece box set 1 poster, Horimiya art book. I also unboxed that and flipped through that on the channel. Cowboy Bebop Funko Pop Ed and Ein. This is signed by the voice actor, the English voice actor. ID Invaded acrylic stand, Dragon Ball complete box set, not Dragon Ball Z. AOT playing cards. Just take some things from the manga and like put them in a full color. This came with this limited edition for volume 17 or 18 of the manga, and we have a little Steins Gate plushie. Okay, next up for the C's for Shonen is Chainsaw Man 1 to 11 complete. I just finished volume 11 last night, and I'm going to save my thoughts, and I'm not even ranking it, and here's why. I read this from the beginning, from the get-go, volume 1, and then I read it every 2 months, and I just do not think that's the way to ingest it. I didn't get the flow or the pacing that everybody was talking about, so I'm going to give it a reread, not now, but maybe at some point in the future, just to give myself a real accurate depiction of how I see this series, because right now, I just don't see it in the highest light. I just think it's a little bit overhyped, to be honest with you, so I will leave it at that. Deadman Wonderland volumes 1 all the way to 13. This is complete. I have not read this yet. I heard really cool things about it. Super dark. The artwork is great. I actually read Livingstone, which is by the same creator in terms of the artwork. So it's just super unique. I love the way the spines look, and definitely one on my radar to read very soon. Next up is Demon Slayer volumes 1 to 23 complete. I picked up the box set, as you can see, because I have this little like special report type of thing. Demon Slayer, I have watched all of the anime up to this point, so I'm kind of like anime only, but I'm thinking I might just jump ahead and read the rest of the manga. I just want to see what happens, but the box set's really nice. I actually really like the way this looks on the shelf, and hopefully it's not one that I'm going to regret buying. Next up is Dragon Ball volumes 1 to 16 complete. I do not have Dragon Ball Z. I have never ingested Dragon Ball before. I didn't watch it as a kid on Toonami or Cartoon Network or anything like that. So I really don't know anything about it, but you know, Akira Toriyama is a master. I love his character designs from Dragon Quest, so I am super excited to see what the hype is all about. Alright, continuing on with the next shelf here. Right back here we have One Piece Box Set 3 poster. We have this little fan book from Space Brothers, which is my favorite anime of all time. And it has interviews and really cool pictures and stuff like that. This is an illustration log, which is basically just a really small art book. This is really cool as well. We have the Amelia Oktoberfest figure, and I just honestly, I haven't even watched ReZero. I just got it because she's holding 2 beers, and I love beer. So we have an Attack on Titan crossover with, I think, the Chibi, the cat journey thing. I will put a little thing here, but it's super cute to see all of them there. And then we have the Ass Class poster right here. And then we have our Haikyuu figures. All right, let's keep going with Shonen Jump here. We have Dr. Stone, volumes 1 to 21 up to date. I have read through volume 21. I love Dr. Stone. I think it's super unique. I think the artwork is fantastic. I just think it is just a really cool idea. You can say that it's not realistic, and I totally understand that. And you may think that it's a little bit childish. I can understand that too. But it is good old-fashioned fun, and I really enjoy it. I also have this. This is the Dr. Stone reboot, Byakuya. This is Senku's dad going into space and everything like that. So this is just a little side story here. Next up, we have Haikyuu, volumes 1 all the way to 45, and this is complete. I have read all of this. Haikyuu is one of my top 5 manga of all time, either 5 or 6 spot. And I just love it so much. I think that the way the drawings are for the games are phenomenal. They're really beautiful. I can follow it along really well. I think the characters make this series. I think the intensity of the games and not knowing what's going to happen, and also the mangaka's willingness to go in a different direction than what you think is going to happen. Haikyuu is definitely one of my favorites. Okay, here we are on this shelf here. We have Gurren Lagann wall scroll. This looks so cool. We have the Haikyuu complete illustrations art book here. We have this little fan made thing, which I think is super unique, and it's basically like a drawing of, if I can open this for you guys. this is embarrassing. Hold on. So if you can see in here, it's just basically the Haikyuu characters in different clothing. So it's really different, really unique, and honestly, I like having it on the shelf. It came because I bought Haikyuu used, 1 to 37 used, and this came with it. We have a small little art book here. This is what came before that guy. And then we have the Spice and Wolf Anniversary Collector's Edition. This compiles the first 17 volumes of Spice and Wolf. Okay, continuing with Shonen Jump, we have Hunter x Hunter volumes 1 all the way to 36 with the volume 0 that was released in Japanese theaters. I'm really glad to have this in my collection, especially because there are new chapters for Hunter x Hunter coming out. Can we see a volume 37 relatively soon? I really do think so. I've watched the anime for this. It's one of my top 10 favorite animes of all time, and I can't wait to ingest the manga at some point and read the source material. Next up is a new Shonen Jump title, Kaiju number 8, volumes 1 and 2. I won't talk too much about this because everybody's reading it right now, but what I will say is I really like this because I like that the main character is in his early 30s. It really relates to me as somebody who's in their late 20s. So yeah, Kaiju number 8, really cool. Next up is My Hero Academia volumes 1 all the way to 30, and then we have Vigilantes 1 to 7. I heard Vigilantes is actually really good. This just finished up at 11 volumes, so I definitely want to read this. The reason why I picked up the manga was because I've watched through season 5 of the anime, but I actually stopped halfway through after the classroom tournament arc because I just didn't like it that much, and I heard that the manga is just so much better from here on out. So I went back, I bought all the manga, I have it now, so I'm definitely going to be reading it. Okay, continuing on this wall, we have Billy Bat. This is what I did here, I made this myself. And what I did was I put all the really cool serializing covers from the magazine into this like big collage poster, and then I printed it out at Office Depot and smacked a frame around it. So I'm really excited with how this turned out. I've had this in my collection for a couple years. It just looks really cool. Also here we have One Piece box sets 1 to 4. We have the Grandista, I can't remember how you call it, but basically it's like the manga shading for these figures. So they're like the weird like shading type of things that you would see in the manga, but like if you put it in like 3D, that's kind of what these figures are. Then we have a Chopper figure in his big reindeer form. So let's start down here. Obviously this shelf is the One Piece shelf. So we have volumes 1 all the way. We go all the way down there, all the way to volume 90. I am on volume 32 right now. I just finished Skypiea. I cannot wait to read Water 7. I'm going to be starting One Piece again in the next couple weeks, so I highly recommend you follow my Instagram to see what my thoughts are on One Piece, because I know we have lots to talk about with One Piece. Continuing on the shelf here, we have Platinum End 1 to 10, same duo who did Death Note. The reason why I picked this up was because it was part of a bundle, so I got this super cheap, and so I'm going to read the first 10 volumes, see if I like it. It is Death Games, and I love Death Games. I heard they butchered the ending, so I'm definitely keeping that in the back of my mind, but I heard the artwork is fantastic as always. Next up is a manga that a lot of people are reading right now on Instagram, and this is Rurouni Kenshin volumes 1 all the way to 28. This is complete in the singles. Man, this is one of the best deals I ever got on Facebook, believe it or not. Somebody didn't know what they were selling, got these, and these are in phenomenal condition. But this is a samurai Shonen Jump story, and I'm really excited to see what all the hype is about, because honestly this is just so critically acclaimed. The action is great, the characters are fantastic, so yeah, definitely can't wait to dive into this one. Okay, on this shelf here, and sorry for the lighting if you guys want to see outside. I just have to get some natural light in here. These are the Attack on Titan limited edition covers that are done by American comic book artists. So this is from volume 16, 17, and 18, I think. These came in those special limited editions for the manga. Here we have Death the Kid and Soul from Soul Eater. So these are the little plushies. Actually, the first 2 accessories I ever bought in my collection. We have a Steins Gate Zero cell phone stand, and then we have Fire Force Funko Pops here. This is Shinra and Booby Girl. These are also really special too. These are like the special Funko Pops for Fire Force, so I am excited to have these. Right here, I've showed these off before in my channel. These are bromides from Japan. These came from Gamers, which is a store in Japan, came with the manga. These are limited edition prints, so the mangaka signs each of these, and then they print a bunch of them and put them in the manga. So really cool to have these. I got these from somebody here in the US who imported them from Japan. Okay, continuing on here. New Shonen Jump series, Sakamoto Days Volume 1 and Volume 2. I have not read Volume 2 yet. I did read Volume 1. You know, this ain't anything special, in my personal opinion. But it is turn your brain off, good old-fashioned fun. Action scenes are drawn fantastically well, and the comedy is pretty good. So yeah, I will definitely have this in a physical in my collection, unlike some other manga like Undead Unluck that had to be dropped. Next up, we have Slam Dunk, a wide array of volumes. Basically, what I did was last year during one of the Viz publisher sales, I bought the whole series on discount, and basically, I'm just gonna wait until Viz reprints these, and then Right Stuff will send them my way, even if it'll take me 2 years. I have many other things to read, but at least I will get Slam Dunk for a very, very good price. Next up is Spy Family 1 to 7. This is up to date. I have read through volume 7. I love Spy Family. Anya's my favorite character. Bond is a pretty close second. And you know what? It's just a fantastic series. You know, a lot of people say it's overhyped, it's just cookie cutter, but honestly, I just appreciate how unique this is compared to all the dark shonen that we have going on currently in the lineup. Next up is Promised Neverland volumes 1 to 20. This is complete. I have not read Promised Neverland yet. I told myself once I had it completed I was going to read it, and I never did. So now that I do have it and that I'm doing this video, it keeps reminding me to read it. And you know, Himika has said great things about it. I think this is one of her top 3 favorite manga of all time. So just that alone, I trust her opinion. I definitely want to read it. Super dark, gritty with the orphanage and the orphans trying to escape. So yeah, very, very cool. Up here, we have Twin Star Exorcist volumes 1 to 13. Blue Tempest has said great things about this manga, and the only reason why I picked this up was because I got it on Facebook for $2 a volume. So you cannot pass that up. Literally in perfect condition. So eventually I will read these, give it a good 1-2 shot, and if I like it, I will keep going with this. But you know, right now it's still ongoing, it's still in print, so I'm not too concerned about it. Okay, onto the accessories for the last shelf here. We have the Shuzo Oshimi art book, Demon Slayer poster, Spice and Wolf art book. We have the main Eva from Evangelion, and this is really, really cool. If you take a step back, this thing is massive. We're talking like 2 feet with his little like trident things. So it's really, really cool, and I got it for a great price too. And we also have the Hunter x Hunter Funko Pops. There are more coming out on the way, so I might get those, I might not. We'll see. Alright, so continuing on with Viz Shonen, we have Yakutate Japan, volumes 1 to 7. I picked this up because Meet the Wheat family loves this manga, and it's a manga about competitive bread baking. So, if you want something like Food Wars, but you don't want them to finish themselves, then this is definitely the one for you. Next up is Yashahime Volume 1. This is a brand new series, and what this manga is about is it's basically a spin-off of Inuyasha with the children going on a journey this time. So I have not read Inuyasha yet, so I'm definitely going to hold off on reading this until I have read Inuyasha. Next up here for Viz is Yu-Gi-Oh! Volume 1 to 3 in the omnibus format. I've heard Yu-Gi-Oh! The manga is super dark. I've read the anime, I've watched the anime, and I've played the card game very heavily when I was a kid. So eventually I will read this, but this is very hard to find, which is why I'm hesitant to read it right now. Coming up here, we have Asushi Okubo's Fire Force. This is volumes 1 all the way to 26. This is up to date, and I have read all of Fire Force so far, and this is the Akibento exclusive volume 1. It's black, it's really cool. It also makes no sense because I've never seen Shinra do this with a fireball in his hand. But I will say that Fire Force itself is a great series. I don't care what anybody says. It's really, really interesting. I think the premise is cool. Bye, Shinra. Uh-oh, bye, Arthur. I think that Fire Force is just super, super cool. I think that the premise is great. You know, a lot of people just can't get over the fan service at the beginning, and I get it, but that's like an Okubo thing. So you just kind of have to get over it. But if you can, you're going to be rewarded with a really cool story. It does get a little bit confusing at times, but it still is a fun read. Next up is Okubo's other series, Soul Eater Volume 1 to 25 complete. I have read up to Volume 10, and I just stopped, and I have no idea why I stopped. And that was like 2 years ago, so I really need to get on this. This is a classic shonen. It is so cool. The artwork is great. I do love the characters in this as well. And you know what? This definitely needs to be on everyone's shelf. Pick up those special, those collector's editions from Square Enix, those hardbacks. They're really, really nice. Okay, we have our last long shelf here, but we are just doing the shonen for right now. We have the Tokyo Ghoul wall poster for Demon Slayer box set, we have Little Nezuko and also the Figure Arts Nezuko with the Demon Fire, Blood Fire, whatever you want to call it, Demon Slayer art book, Toilet Bound Hanako-kun art book, Gintama plushie, Appa Fuzzy Funko Pop, and Aang and Momo as well. I love Avatar. Let me know down in the comments if you love Avatar as well. I think Legend of Korra is good, not great. Avatar is a straight up masterpiece. You know, if you consider Avatar an anime, it would be in my top 5 easily. So let's keep going with the shonen manga. We have Shaman King volumes 1 all the way to 27. I have read up to volume 24 so far. This is cookie cutter shonen, but it's good cookie cutter fun. It's just a big tournament arc to become the next Shaman King. Artwork is great, characters are good. Definitely very childish, especially at the beginning, but it gets real dark real fast. I'm loving the direction that this is going. Next up, we have Seven Deadly Sins, Volume 1. I don't plan on reading this anytime soon. I picked this up in a video. My friend picked this out for me. There are other options for me to collect, like the omnibus or the box set. So I think I'll just skip out on this for now. Maybe I'll sell it and pick up more down the road. I don't have a desire to read this right now. Next up is Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. I have the side story, After School Hanako-kun, right here. And then we have volume 0 all the way to 13 here. This is up to date. I have read all of this. And let me just say, Toilet Bound Hanako-kun is so underrated. As you can see, the art is phenomenal. Japanese ghost folklore type of thing. The characters are fantastic. Toilet Bound Hanako-kun's got like a real mix of shoujo, shonen, seinen. I mean, it's a little bit of everything while having a really concise storyline with all the 7 different ghosts of the high school. I just really like it a lot. I highly recommend you check it out. You really just cannot beat these releases and these beautiful, beautiful covers. Next up is my Tezuka section here. We have Astro Boy volumes 1 to 23 complete in the pocket manga singles. There are also omnibus format editions for this. Astro Boy, classic manga that really was the catalyst to modern manga today. So we have Tezuka to thank for that. I love that I have this in my collection. I have not read it yet, but I got it because I read Pluto like 3 years ago, and I said I have to get Astro Boy. So I'm glad to have found a set before the out of print market price just went crazy. Next up, we have Clockwork Apple. This is a short story compilation, super underrated. I think this is absolutely fantastic. A good Tezuka starter manga, to be honest with you. So highly recommend people check this one out. I did a review on my channel, one of the first videos I actually did. And last but not least is Message to Adolf 1 to 4 complete. I love Message to Adolf. It is about 3 different Adolfs, including Adolf Hitler, and how their lives are intertwined. And this is so dark, so messed up, beautifully written historical fiction with one of the best endings that I've ever read in manga. So I highly recommend you either read this or buy this before it goes out of print again. Okay, so before we get into the romance rom-com section, I do want to show off my figures. These are like my superstar figures in my collection. I have them all from biggest to smallest, so let's start with the biggest. I think the studio is called Zhao Hua. This is unlicensed, but this is a Chainsaw Man resin statue. I think 1/4 scale. There are only like 250 of these made, and this is obviously from the front cover, but man, this is freaking beautiful. Oh, I'm so glad to have this in my collection. It looks fantastic, cost a pretty penny, but man, is it going to be worth something real nice when that anime comes out. Next up is the Dr. Stone Figure Arts figure. This is really nice for the price. I love all the detail with Senku, and I love that they put the flag in there. Classic for Dr. Stone. Next up, we have Kino's Journey, actually. It's an anime from a light novel, and we've got Hermes with the bicycle. This is my first scale that I ever got, and the detail on the bicycle is phenomenal. It looks so good. Really underrated anime series. This is also not in circulation anymore, so this fetches a pretty penny. Next up is one of my top 10 favorite characters and my favorite character from K-On! This is Ritsu with her drum set, and that drum set just looks amazing. So yeah, I loved K-On! A lot of fun, and Ritsu is absolutely hilarious. Next up, we have the Nendroids from Laid Back Camp. Oh, just so great. Nothing like recreating a camping scene. But yeah, I just wanted to get the Nendroids for Laid Back Camp because, as you know, very much a chibi kind of manga, and we'll talk about it a little bit more later. But yeah, Nendroids, these are really, really nice. Next up here we have the Barakumon figures. These are limited edition from Japan. They did not sell these in the US, so I did have to get these imported. These came with the manga, and they are so cool. I'm so glad to have these, and Barakumon is one of my top 5 favorite series of all time. Last but not least, and this is probably one of the coolest things I have in my collection, these are the capsule figures for Yotsuba that were released in like 2008 or 2009. There are 10 of them in total, and it's a collaboration that Yotsuba did with the zoo, I think, to just spread animal awareness. And so there's a bunch of different ones here. I got these imported from Japan. Yotsuba and Anya are 2 of my favorite characters of all time. I just think that she is absolutely hilarious and absolutely perfect in every way, and she's a fantastic character in a fantastic manga. So we'll talk about it a little bit more later. Okay, here we go with the rom-com section. Let's start with Cheeky Brat volumes 1 to 3. This is up to date. I have read volumes 1 and 2. You know, I can't recommend this right now because it's basically about a delinquent boy who's on the basketball team. She is her senior and she is the basketball manager. They spark an unsuspecting relationship. She's a tsundere type. Feels kind of like a ripoff of Toradora. So I can't recommend this yet, but I do hear it gets really, really good. Now, one that I can recommend is Ciguatera. This is like if you took Flowers of Evil and made it into a rom-com. Super weird. This was made in like the early 2000s, early mid 2000s, and there are 3 of these in total. I have read 2 so far. The 3rd one should be released soon, and 6 volumes is the span of the series. So short series, released by Kodansha. Very funny. Highly recommend that one. Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, volumes 2 to 10, up to date. I have read all 10 volumes. I'm waiting for my Books A Million exclusive volume 1. You know, a lot of people did not get into Nagatoro because honestly, she was being a little B in volume 1, but it changes a lot after that, and it's very wholesome. It's very cute. I like the side characters and how they don't impact the main relationship. So Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro is a very fun read. I am still enjoying it even through 10 volumes. Next up is Horimiya volumes 1 to 15, up to date. Volume 16 is the last volume of the series. I don't know when we're going to get that out yet. You know, I've done a review of this on my channel. I highly recommend you check it out if you want to hear my thoughts on it. I will say this, I love the main relationship. I think the first 6 volumes are rom-com genius. After that, it gets a little bit distracted. So I would have liked to see this have been wrapped up around volume 10. But here we are at volume 15 and it's still going. So, yeah, whatever. Next up is Kaguya-sama Love is War, volumes 1 all the way to 22. This is up to date. I have read all 22 volumes. And look, this was probably my favorite rom-com of all time. And then we got to like here, and I was like, nah, this ain't it. This is taking a direction I don't like. And then we got volume 22, and now it's great. Again, make Kaguya-sama great again. So yeah, this is still a very enjoyable series. I love the comedy in it. I love the side characters when they're not being distracting and they're just being funny like they should be. So yeah, Kaguya-sama Love is War. Continuing down here, we have Dress Up Darling volumes 1 to 5. This is up to date. I have read all 5 volumes. I read the manga even before the anime came out. I knew this is going to be a big hit. The cosplay is fantastic in it. I love how educational it is. I love how wholesome the relationship is. And it's ecchi. It's ecchi fan service without ecchi fan service. Like, it's there. And so yeah, but what I will say is I do love Dress Up Darling, and it's my second favorite rom-com of all time. Next up is a rom-com I haven't read yet. That is My Love Story volumes 1 all the way to volume 13, but I am missing volume 12. I have had it ordered for a year and a half. and Viz has still not reprinted it, so I don't know when I can start this series, but I've only heard great things about it. Just think of your standard shoujo, but it's kind of flipped over the head because he's the main character instead of that pretty boy right there. Next up is My Senpai is Annoying, volumes 1 to 6. This is up to date. I have read all 6 volumes. This is like a worse version of Wotakoi. It's really nice because it is in full color, and I do like the main character, Sundari type girl. I will say that it does get a little monotonous, so there was some character progression which made me keep wanting to pick this up, but if it starts getting stale, I could see myself dropping this relatively soon. Next up is O Maidens in Your Savage Season 1 to 8 complete. I just got this, haven't read it yet. This is the same creator as the anime original series Anohana, so if you really like that series, this is not anything like it apparently. It's basically about these girls in this literary club, and they only have one word on their mind, and it's that 3-letter word that every child thinks and they're going through their puberty stages. And they want to experience that, and so they're going through trying to get some. Next up is Prison School Volume 1 or Omnibus 1. So this is compiles volumes 1 and 2. I really enjoyed this. It is ecchi, it is funny, it is cute, it is hilarious, and the artwork is really, really phenomenal. You know, my friend called this Dami Mommy, and I can agree with him there. So Dami Mommy indeed. Well, after all that ecchi, let's get something wholesome here. We have Skip and Loafer, volumes 1 to 4, up to date. I have read through volume 4. Not sure why I have this in the rom-com section. It's more slice of life with a little bit of rom-com, but this story is super wholesome, super relaxing, very, very strong main character. So if you enjoy that a lot, highly recommend it. She is a fantastic lead female character, and this boy character is super, super intriguing, but this series is a lot of fun. A lot of manga tubers are talking about it right now, so this is a great time to pick it up. Next up is my favorite rom-com series of all time, Sweat and Soap volumes 1 to 11. If you want to hear my complete thoughts on the series, check out my rom-com video that I did, top 10 rom-coms, but this is phenomenal. You know, volume 1 it's pretty out there because, you know, they didn't expect the series to go that long, but then once this started getting traction, the mangaka was like, oh man, now I gotta really expand this out. Then it gets super, super wholesome. Think like Nagatoro, but just a better volume 1, and that's what we got here. And then this is just fantastic, a perfect encapsulation of a very, very healthy adult working relationship. Great support system. I love it, love it, love it. Next up is Tomo-chan is a Girl, volumes 1 to 8. This is a very much a underrated rom-com series. This is a 4-coma about a tomboy girl and June, who is the boy, and Jax, who's not even part of the manga. And basically what it is she doesn't want to be thought of as one of the bros, one of the friends. She wants to be thought of as a girl, but June, her love interest, doesn't see her in that way. So it's 8 volumes of her trying to change her image. It's very good. It's very good. It's very wholesome. I do like how the side characters enhance the main relationship, and the ending is very strong. Next up is Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out, volumes 1 to 7. This is up to date. I just got this, so I definitely can't not wait to read this. I've only heard really good things about it. Like, it's not anything special, but you have embossed boobies on the cover, so I mean, you just can't beat it. But yeah, Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out. I am excited to read this. You know, I heard the anime is pretty good, so yeah, this should be a good one. Next up is Wotakoi, Love is Hard for an Otaku, volumes 1 to 10, and then volume 11 over there completes the series. I've just finished reading this, and let me just say the ending was fantastic. The series itself is great, and I think it just does so well because all of us are otakus, so we just relate to them so well. I love all of the characters in this manga. All 3 of the pairs are fantastic. It's really funny. I like the video game and just overall otaku references in here. So this is definitely one that should be on everyone's shelf, even if you're not a rom-com fan. Next up is A Galaxy Next Door. This is by the same creator of Sweetness and Lightning, about a girl who comes from space and she's helping this manga artist basically, but then she falls in love with him. It's a love story. This is weird. This is super weird. I didn't really like the first volume. I should probably just drop it, but I do want to give it one more volume just to see what it does. But yeah, this just wasn't my cup of tea, to be honest with you. Next up is Ancient Magus Bride, volumes 1 to 15. This is up to date. This is the Loot Crate volume 1 exclusive, which is really cool. I have not read this yet, so I can't say anything about it, but I've only heard really, really good things about this. I heard the anime was fantastic, so definitely one on my radar to read sooner rather than later. Next up is Bloom Into You, volumes 1 to 8 complete. Have not read this one either. This is the first Yuri series I ever bought, and this is just so highly acclaimed. Definitely one that I want to read soon. Blue Flag 1 to 8 complete. Have not read this one yet. It's a kind of a love triangle type of thing, and I heard that the ending was okay. You can take it or leave it. Very kind of divisive in the community, so I definitely want to see what all that is about. Next up is Donuts Under a Crescent Moon, volumes 1 and 2. I've read both these volumes. Think of it if it's Watakoi, but it's Yuri and there's no otaku stuff in there. Super wholesome office romance type of thing. Lots of fun. Very kind of unexpectedly dark, but in a good way. So yeah, I really like the main characters, obviously, and this is definitely a good LGBTQ manga to read. Next up is Haru's Curse. This is 1 and 2 in an omnibus complete. This is super underrated and super messed up. It's basically about this girl right here who has a sister who's dead, who died, and the sister is engaged to this guy, but then after she dies, this sister starts going out with this guy. So they're trying to get over the loss of the sister while starting to date each other. Super weird. I feel like this breaks some sort of like family code or like the bro code, but but here we are. So yeah, this is definitely a good read. I'm glad to have this in the collection. Next up is Hello Melancholic, volume 1, 3-volume series. I have read this. This is about a girl who is shy and she plays trombone. She joins the music club. It's okay, nothing special. I Had the Same Dream Again, volumes 1 to 3 complete. This is an adaptation of the light novel, but the manga is really good. Really, really good manga. So I highly recommend you check this out. A life lesson manga. Makes you think about connections with friends and, you know, generational time and stuff like that. Next up is I Want to Eat Your Pancreas Again, volumes 1 to 3 complete. I have read this, and these two are by the same creator. Everybody knows this series. It's heart-wrenching, it's beautiful, and it made me cry. So yeah, there you go. Next up are self-prints of I Sold My Life for 10,000 yen, 1 to 3 complete. There is a light novel that has been officially published in English called 3 Days of Happiness by Yen Press. I highly recommend you check that out, but the manga is fantastic as well. It's one of the highest rated manga on my anime list. This is really, really beautiful. Beautiful ending, beautiful start, beautiful middle. Next up is Orange, volumes 1 to 4, and then Orange Future. This is complete. And no, I have not read this yet. This has probably been in my collection since like 2019. I really do need to read this. I just know that this is about, you know, cherishing your friendships before they're gone. And so I know it'll make me cry. Next up is The God's Lie. This is a one-shot, and a very good one-shot at that. It just does everything you want in a story done in like 6 chapters. So highly recommend this one. Golden Sheep Volume 1. This is a 3-volume series. I have not gotten the other 2, nor have I read this one. This is by the same creator as The God's Lie. Voices of a Distant Star. This is a one-shot. This is by Makoto Shinkai, who's the original creator. This was an anime movie, 24-minute anime movie that they adapted into a manga. And I like the manga because they actually like shelled out a lot more of the story, and it definitely deserves it because it's super cool. So if you like sci-fi romance, check this one out. Next up is Whisper Me a Love Song, volumes 1 to 4. This is up to date. I've read all 4 of these. Yuri music manga. This girl is a musician in a band. She's the senior, she's the freshman. She likes her because she's cool, but she likes her because she's romantically interested in her. So it's really cute. I like the music part of it, and the artwork is top notch. Highly recommend you check out my review of this on my channel. Okay, we've just gone through a ton of wholesome manga, and then we get Yagi the Bookshop Goat. Which, look at this. You think this is wholesome? You've got a little goat boy. He likes eating books, but his dream is to work in a bookstore. Then you have the wolf manager, who's kind of mean, but he has a soft spot for the little goat. And this seems like it's super wholesome, right? No, it's not. It's definitely not wholesome. There is some R18 stuff in here. This should be plastic wrapped in the stores. It burned my eyeballs. Next up is Your Lie in April, volumes 1 to 11 complete. I have read this whole series. This is the Loot Crate volume 1 exclusive. I really resonate with the main character boy, if I can find him. His childhood was very similar to mine growing up. So it's really, really beautiful. I love the romance with this manga as well. It's super heart-wrenching, and the music itself is just excellently drawn, so highly recommend Your Lie in April. Okay, now we're in the slice of life section. So now we have A Man and His Cat volumes 1 to 5. This is up to date. I've read all of these. If you have a cat, you will love this. If you don't have a cat, you will probably still love this, because surprisingly, even though it's a slice of life, this actually has a very good overarching storyline with a very, very strong main character male. So I highly recommend you check this out. You're definitely going to feel some things with this one. Next up is Arya the Masterpiece. This is a new acquisition from Right Stuff Anime, who did a final reprint run with Tokyo Pop. So this is 1 to 14 complete. I have read this, and so check out my reading log if you want to know my thoughts on the first half of the series. But I just finished this about a week ago, and I really enjoyed this. 9.5 out of 10. But if you do not like slice of life, you will hate this series, because it gets, it's slice of life. So it's definitely more relaxing. There's no action or anything like that in there. Next up is Azumanga Daioh by Kiyohiko Azuma, one of my favorite mangakas of all time. So Azumanga Daioh volumes 1 to 4. This is a 4-coma high school comedy thing about a group of girls going through each year of high school. So you've got freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, senior year. And I love this manga. I could not stop laughing. It is absolutely hilarious. And because of that, I started picking up Yotsuba volumes 1 to 15, with the exception of volume 13. I'm still waiting for that to come back in stock. I have read up to volume 12. Yotsuba is one of my favorite characters of all time. She is absolutely hilarious. I love this manga. It is so funny. So funny, so relatable, because I work with kids as a teacher, so I understand a lot of the things that she's thinking about, and it's really, really fantastic. One of my favorite manga that I have in my collection. And look at those spines. Look at Yotsuba. You just can't break her heart. Okay, we have to protect her. And right next to Yotsuba is one of my top 5 manga series of all time, including my favorite slice of life series of all time, Barakamon volumes 1 all the way, if you wrap around, volume 18, plus the little fan art book 18+1. If you don't know what Barakamon is, it is about a guy who is a calligrapher in the big city, and he ends up having an episode, so he ends up going to this rural island to kind of rehabilitate. And along the way, he meets the villagers, and they open up his heart. It is absolutely beautiful. I love the story. I think all of the characters are absolutely fantastic, and it is so, so good. Yen Press has announced that a reprint of this is coming, so keep your eyes open, because everybody needs to pick this up right now, because I can't see this coming back into stock after this last run is printed. Okay, continuing on here with Slice of Life, we have Blank Canvas, my so-called artist journey. This is by Higashimura, and I don't have anything else by her, but I heard this is a phenomenal 5-volume series, and it's a great autobiographical work. I just cannot wait to grab this and read it, because it's just going to be super short, so something I read within the next month. Next up, we have BL Metamorphosis volumes 1 to 5. This is basically about a girl and this older lady who bond over BL. I have not read this one either, so basically both these series I want to read within the next month for my Slice of Life fix. Next up, we have Blue Giant volumes 1 to 10. This is complete. I did a full manga series review on Blue Giant, so I recommend you check out that on my channel if you want my full thoughts. I really enjoy the series. Definitely one of my favorite music mangas of all time. Next up is Blue Period, volumes 1 to 6, up to date. I have read all of these, and Blue Period is phenomenal, about a boy who wants to become an artist, but he starts this journey at his senior year of high school. 4, 5, and 6 have one of the best arcs that I've ever read in manga, the exam arc. Oh, it is so good, guys. You have to read it. This is just a beautiful like experiment on like character development and like strong characters in the face of adversity. Blue Period is fantastic. Next up is a slice of life series, Cat Plus Gamer volume 1. Super cute cat. You've got this girl who's a gamer, and this cat comes into this girl's life, and she's like in her, I think she's like 29 or something like that. So yeah, this is a fun read. I'll definitely keep picking this up by Dark Horse. Next up is one of the prize things in my collection, a complete set of Cromartie High School, volumes 1 to 12. This is the official English release, and then 13 to 17 are self-prints. So this finishes the whole manga. I'm currently reading this right now. If you want something real dumb, real stupid, real gag manga comedy, this is for you. It's basically high school delinquents, Yakuza-esque type guys doing dumb things. It's just fantastic. Next up is Frieren, Beyond Journey's End, volumes 1 to 4. Up to date, I read all 4 volumes. If you like slice of life, or you're not into slice of life and you want to get into the genre but you still like shonen, this is it for you. Okay, this is super cool. This is a journey after the main journey. So it's fantasy, great characters, life lesson manga. You're really going to enjoy it. Check out my volume 1 first impressions review on this manga. It's really fantastic. Next up is Grand Blue Dreaming, volumes 1 to 14, almost up to date. I think volume 15 is already out. I read volume 1, and then after reading volume 1, I picked up the rest of them, and then I never read it. So I really enjoyed volume 1. Reminds me of my high school, or not high school. Wow, I did not do this stuff in high school. It reminds me of my college days. So yeah, this is a lot of fun. Great artwork. It's rated in the top 10 on my anime list, and you know, honestly, for good reason. I don't think there's much wrong with this series at all. Next up is a manga that a lot of people really enjoy, and that's Hinamatsuri, volumes 1 all the way to volume 12. So I'm not up to date with this. I got this off of Facebook for a phenomenal price, so this is a great way for me to get into the series to see if I like it. This is like Gintama comedy, alien space girl, Yakuza guy going through life. So seems really funny. Cannot wait to get started with this one. Next up is a small volume here. We have Junji Ito's Cat Diary. So this is the only Junji Ito work that I own. I do not like horror manga, so honestly I don't plan on picking any of his stuff up, but this has 2 cats in it and I have a cat, so yep, I read it and it was great. Next up is Laid Back Camp, volumes 1 to 11, one of the most underrated slice of life series. This is very similar to Dress Up Darling. Very educational, very well done. 2 girls camping club in high school. A lot of cast of characters, beautiful artwork, fun chibi style drawings. You get to see a lot of Japan and the landscape. So this is so much fun. If you are remotely interested in camping, or you just want something different on your shelf, Laid Back Camp is the one for you. Life Lessons with Uramichi Onisan, volumes 1 to 6, up to date in the omnibus format. So I have read all of this. This is funny. It's about this guy who works at a kids program and he just hates life, and the kids catch on to that and they're just like giving him the business. It's really funny. I really enjoy this manga. It reminds me a lot of me like working just in general. So yeah, this is great. Next up is Maruku-chan, volumes 1 to 5, up to date. I've read through volume 4. I plan on reading volume 5 very soon. You know, this is really interesting. It's like slice of life but with ghost zombie body horror type of thing, which isn't really my cup of tea, to be honest with you, but there are some like supernatural developments going on in volumes 3 and 4, so I am curious to see what they do to keep going with that in volume 5. if nothing progresses more than what we've got, then this might be a series that I drop. Next up is My Boy, volumes 1 to 5. This is almost complete. Basically, it goes up to 9 volumes. I don't know anything about this series. I picked it up because it was super cheap. Eventually, I'll read this. Paradise Kiss 20th Anniversary Edition, volumes 1 to 5, complete here. And I have not read this, but this is a fashion manga, so I am super excited to get into this sooner rather than later. School Live, Live Live, volume 1. This is like slice of life, but with zombies, I think. I don't know if I'm going to read that anytime soon. Sweetness and Lightning, volumes 1 to 12, complete. This is the Loot Crate exclusive, volume 1. Super wholesome series, single dad and a girl. And this woman who starts to come into their life to create a family, and they bond over food. Super wholesome, super cute. I have not read this, but definitely one on my radar. One I have read that I absolutely love, The Apothecary Diaries, volumes 1 to 4, up to date. This is a manga adaptation of a light novel. This is super cool. You've got this medicine woman who basically acts like Moriarty the Patriot or Sherlock Holmes. They basically solve crimes and mystery with medicine. Very, very cool, very well done, and the art is phenomenal, and it is a fun historical kind of fiction manga. Next up is The Masterful Cat is Depressed Again Today, volumes 1 to 4, up to date. I have read through volume 4. This is probably one of my favorite manga series going on right now. Super, super funny, role reversal type of thing. He's the homekeeper. She's an absolute mess. It is hilarious. The artwork is fantastic, and the comedy just really, really is on point. Another comedy series that really is on point is The Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting, volumes 1 to 2. This is up to date. I have read both volumes. I love this series. Super wholesome. Yakuza guy babysitting the boss's girl. And it is absolutely adorable. A lot of fun. Next up is a new series, Blue Lock, volume 1. I have not read this yet. Soccer manga. I cannot wait. I've only heard great things. Cells at Work, volume 1. This is I think it's the Akibento exclusive volume 1. I definitely want to give this a good shot. I heard that it's pretty wordy, pretty smarty, so I don't know if I'm going to like it so much, but it's a exclusive cover, and I'm a sucker for exclusive covers, so here we are. Next up is Death Note short stories. This is just the single compilation volume. Some of the short stories in here are super, super cool. I love this one on the cover, was really cool, and also another one near the end was awesome as well, and some of them were kind of a miss. But this is definitely, if you like Death Note, definitely pick this up. It's really, really unique. You cannot read this before you read Death Note. You have to read Death Note first or watch the anime, then read this. Next up is the Dragon Quest, The Adventures of Dai, volumes 1 to 3 and 1.5 omnibuses. Goes up to 37 volumes. Same creators who did Beat the Vandal Buster. Character designed by Akira Toriyama. This is good old-fashioned shonen beat 'em up, but I really like it. Fantasy beat 'em up. It's just great. It's fantastic. The characters are great. It's just a lot of fun. Turn your brain off. It's obviously based off of the video game Dragon Quest, so if you're looking for something that's just going to kind of chill you out but you still want action, Dragon Quest is the way to go. Next up is Fist of the North Star, volumes 1 to 8, up to date. I have not read any of this. Think Mad Max, post-apocalyptic, big influence on the shonen manga of today, so this is really cool to have in these nice signature hardcover editions. Eventually I will read this and give it a good shot. Alright, continuing on here with the Hiromu Arakawa section. This is Full Metal Alchemist in the Full Metal hardcover editions. These are absolutely beautiful. Volumes 1 all the way to volume 15 and a half, volume 17, so we're at 25 and a half. Almost done. This ends at 27 volumes. I have watched the Brotherhood anime, absolutely loved it. Glad to have this in the source material so that I can read what is the original, like how is this different from the anime. And those Blu-rays are ridiculously expensive, so if I'm gonna have to choose between getting these beautiful manga editions and some rinky-dink overpriced Blu-rays, I'm definitely gonna go with the source material. Next up is Silver Spoon, volume 1 to 15, complete. I have watched the 2 seasons of the anime for this, have not read the manga, but I love the anime. This is a beautiful story about the farming industry and just basically like respecting food and where it comes from. Not saying we like shouldn't eat meat or whatever, but like just respecting the industry. So I really enjoy this. I want to read it really soon because I just want to know how this thing ends. Last but not least, we have the series she is currently working on right now, The Heroic Legend of Arslan, volumes 1 to 15 up to date. I got this at a game exchange in Kentucky for $5 a volume, which is phenomenal. So this is an adaptation of a light novel, fantasy, kingdom series, kind of a, come to Jesus moment. Bad stuff happens and now he's trying to like reclaim the kingdom type of thing. So yeah, seems super cool. Can't wait to get into this one. All right, 2 more series in this section. We have Ragna Crimson volumes 1 to 5 up to date. I read volume 1 off the recommendation of HVL Manga. I was in her neck of the woods a couple weeks ago. I was actually teaching at a music camp and we met up and did some manga shopping together and she recommended this to me. I read the first volume. I loved it. I went to Books A Million and picked up the rest. So I love this. Dragons, dark fantasy, superpowers. It's just great. It's awesome. Sayuki from Tokyo Pop, volumes 1 to 9. Kodansha re-released these in a hardcover physical format, but I picked these up for a fantastic price. I don't think I'll pick up the sequel series Reloaded. I think I'll just stick with this. This is not high on my radar to read. I just picked it up because it was a good price. It's like got like Chinese lore in it, religion, just a ragtag team of 4 guys trying to save the world, basically. So yeah, seems interesting enough. I'll read it eventually. Okay, before we go into this section here, I do want to come up here and show you guys this on this shelf, the last accessories I haven't shown you yet. So this is my Violet Evergarden shrine. We've got the 4 art cards. We have the exclusive Japanese piano album art card. This is the limited edition collector's edition that was released by Funimation. Super out of print, super expensive, but I got the very last copy on Right Stuff. And then this is a resin statue of Violet from E2046 Gathering is the studio name. This is beautiful. Even though it's unlicensed, it looks exactly like the anime. I am so glad to have this in my collection. And last but not least, we have the Monogatari flashcards. Wow, am I in school? Monogatari postcards here, and a little figure of the girl that has that big backpack. She's super fun. So let's go back here. So this is my Rumiko Takahashi shelf or section. And how I got into her stuff is I got volume 1 of Maison Ikoku from HVL Manga when we went manga shopping together. She recommended this to me. I read it. I fell in love with it. I went to Books A Million during the buy 2 get 1 free, and I bought the rest of that. I bought the short story collection, and then I bought Inuyasha, which is like her most acclaimed series. I love Maison Ikoku. This is fantastic rom-com. This is like 80s rom-com, and I just think it's great. Inuyasha, this is 1 to 9 out of 56 volumes. So this is definitely like the Shougenjo. I don't know how Meet the Weeb family calls it, but this is really, this is what everybody knows. So I'm excited to have these. And then we have the short story collection here, which I plan on reading tonight as of recording this video. Marguerite's Manga and I are doing a reading sprint together, so this should be really fun. Next up for the last mangaka showcase here, I have the Satoshi Mizukami section. Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer volumes 1 to 10 complete. I have read all of this. This is in my top 10 favorite manga series of all time. This is as weird as you think it is, Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer. I did a full review on my channel. I highly recommend you check this out. Very out of print, but there is an anime coming this summer, so I highly recommend you check it out. I love this story. It is just so well done. Satoshi Mizukami writes great stories and great worlds. This is the Japanese volumes of Spirit With, volumes 1 to 7. This was on the Crunchyroll manga app, so that's how I was able to read this. And I just wanted to support the mangaka, so I picked these up. Last but not least, we have Spirit Circle 1 to 6 complete. This is a phenomenal short 6-volume series, just like his other works. Fantastic world, great characters, and it's short, concise, and to the point, and it doesn't deviate from that. And so I really enjoy this series as well. This is also out of print and very difficult to find. Okay, we're on the last section here. This is all my Seinen manga, and like I said before, this is alphabetical all through this last row, and it cuts around and then it goes into this other bookshelf here. So let's start here. This is my Kaoru Mori section, and this is A Bride Story volumes 1 to 13 up to date in these beautiful yen press hardcovers. I have not read this yet. This is a historical fiction manga about a girl who is wed to a very young boy, and it's her life living in the mountains. So it's really interesting. Super excited to get into this one. Next up, we have Emma in the hardcover omnibuses, volumes 1 to 10, but this is just 2, 3, and 5, so I'm still missing 1 and 4. Hopefully volume 1 gets reprinted sometime soon, and volume 4 hopefully gets reprinted this fall. I've been hearing that this is going to get reprinted, which is why I was able to get volume 2 from Right Stuff. So hopefully I can get the other 2 and complete the set. Victorian era manga about a girl doing Victorian era things. Terrible explanation, I know. Next up is Jacob from Meet the Weed Family's favorite manga. This is Akira in the anniversary edition. Really nice hardcovers. So volumes 1 to 6 complete with the art book right here. This is a fantastic manga. I loved 4, 5, and 6. 4, 5, and 6 were peak. So good. 1, 2, 3 were okay. 1 was pretty good. 2 was bleh, 2 was bleh. 3 was good at the end. So yeah, I really did enjoy Akira a lot. This is a classic manga, and you know what? If you watch the movie and you love the movie, check out the manga, because the manga is like 1,000 times better than the movie. Next up is Alice in Borderland volumes 1 to 4 up to date. I read Alice in Borderland volume 1, and this is fantastic. I was super scared that this is going to be like Zom 100 because it was by the same creator, and the characters at the beginning reminded me of Zom 100, but then when we got to the death game parts, man, oh, it was so cool. So I really like this manga. I really enjoy it. I cannot wait to read Omnibus 2. Next up here is All You Need Is Kill. This is a 2-volume omnibus series. And if you know the movie from Tom Cruise, The Edge of Tomorrow, this is that movie. So this is really cool. I haven't read it yet, but I do like the movie. It's a good sci-fi movie, so I will definitely enjoy this one. Next up, we have Beastars, and then we have Beast Complex. This is just a kind of a one-shot done in that Beastars world, so a bunch of short stories compiled together. Then we have Beastars 1 to 18 up to date. I have not read this yet, and at this point I think I'm just going to wait till volume 22 comes out, and then I'll just give this a good old binge. But I read volume 1 like way back in the day, so think like really dark as Utopia, and that's kind of the vibe that I get. So yeah, this seems really cool, and we'll see how this goes. Next up is The Goat, apparently, even though I haven't read it. Volumes 1 all the way to 30 of Berserk in the omnibus format. You know, I have not read this yet. I need to read it, and I think at this point I might just hold off till we get all of them to come in. I know that I'm going to enjoy this manga a lot. It's just me committing to actually reading it. I'm very hesitant to read manga in the top 5 because I want to cherish them. So I keep reading other things before I actually read Berserk. But I will eventually get down to reading this, and when I do, I will be making videos about this for sure. Next up is a samurai series, Blade of the Immortal in the Dark Horse Deluxe editions, volume 1 to 5, so that makes it up to volume 15. These are really nice as well. I've read this manga because other work, Wave listened to me. It was a rom-com series, very weird to be honest with you, but this is super highly acclaimed. A lot of people like this more than Vagabond, but this, I just can't wait. This is one that I might read before Berserk, to be honest with you. Next up is Black Lagoon volume 1. I know nothing about this series. I just got it for free one day, so here we are. Next up is an overhyped series in my personal opinion, and that is Crazy Food Truck volume 1. This is a 3-volume series. I don't get it. You know, yeah, it's food. They're making food in a post-apocalyptic setting. There's a girl who shows her boobies, and that's it. So yeah, this is just 3 volumes, so I'm definitely just gonna finish it out and probably sell it off. Alright, next up is my Inio Asano section. We have Dead Dead Demons, volumes 1 to 10, up to date. I have read all of this. I really love this series. Check out my video where I talk about the anime adaptation that's coming up, and just like a little bit of everything I know about it. Also, I do a little bit of a manga review on the series itself, but this is a great starter manga if you want to get into Inio Asano. It's a perfect mix of seinen and shonen-esque and slice of life. Next up is Downfall. This is super dark. This is super messed up one-shot. It's basically, he doesn't explicitly say it, but I feel like this is like an autobiography of his life, and it is, it just gives me the shivers. Next up is Goodnight Poon Poon, his most acclaimed work, volumes 1 to 14 complete. I have not read this yet, but super dark, super messed up, definitely going to make me bummed out, but I can't wait to read this. This is definitely on my to-be-read list within the next 2 months. Last but not least, here we have Seinen. This is the volume 1 and 2 omnibus one-shot here. This is really, really good, kind of like a redemption story, you know, follow your dreams type of thing. So this is really, really fun. I enjoyed this read a lot. I don't know anything about the epilogue, but I will stick with this. Definitely worth a reread, and one that I highly recommend to beginners as well for Inio Asano. Next up is my Q Hayashida section. We have volumes 1 to 3 of Die Dark. This is up to date. I have not read this yet. I read Dorohedoro, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna read this like right now, and then I just kind of forgot, and now that I'm doing this manga collection video, I kind of remember that it's here. So I definitely gonna read this just to see what all the hype is about. I think 3 volumes is a good indicator to see whether I'm gonna like this or not. Dorohedoro, volume 1 to 23, complete. I have read all of this. I really, really enjoyed this. I think the world and the characters are fantastic. You know, it gets a little bit messy in here because she doesn't know what direction she wanted to take the series. Like, she was just kind of having like a midlife series crisis, but then it kind of all wraps up here at the end. Very well done. Nice job, Q Hayashida. Some of the best artwork in manga, easily. Okay, next up here is The Drifting Classroom, volumes 1 to 3. This is complete, or 1 to 11. This is a big influence for Junji Ito, very early horror, but this is basically like, think of, what's it called? The Lord of the Flies, kids eating each other and stuff like that. That's kind of what this manga is kind of like, so... Next up is Erased, volumes 1 to 8 complete with the extra volume 5 here, volume 9. And this is a fantastic thriller series by Kei Sanbei. You know, it just kept me on the edge of my seat. Beautiful hardcover editions, mystery thriller. You just cannot go wrong. So if you're into that vibe, highly recommend this one. Also by Kei Sanbei is Island in a Puddle, volume 1. This was a great first volume. I really, really enjoyed this 5-volume series, Body Swap. So if you like that mystery thriller, keep going with this one. Next up is Girls Last Tour, 1 to 6 complete. Underrated series, slice of life set in a post-apocalyptic world. 2 girls just trying to survive. The ending is beautiful. The art is very, very unique. It kind of gives me Land of the Lustrous vibes. So this is a series I think should be on everyone's radar. It's really, really good. Next up here is Golden Kamui, volumes 1 all the way to 26. That is up to date, and I am up to date with the series. You know, this is my perfect seinen. It's got comedy, it's got cooking, it's got beautiful, beautiful art, historical fiction, battles, everything that you want is in here. A lot of people don't like that because they say it's distracting, but look, I say it's a great series and it's a lot of fun. Next up is 1 volume of Heavenly Delusion. I think there are 2 out. I have not read this one yet. Sci-fi, post-apocalyptic thing. I definitely want to read it relatively soon. Slow release schedule though, which is why I'm not in the desire to read it really fast. Next up is Hell's Paradise, volumes 1 and 2. I think there are 13 out in total, and this is finished, but I have not read any of this yet. I got this in a bundle. Definitely want to try it out and hopefully pick up the rest during the Right Stuff summer sale if it is on sale. Next up is Inuyashiki, volumes 1 to 10 complete. Have not read this or anything by this mangaka, so I've not read Gantz or Gigant, but I heard that this is a really underrated work, you know, kind of the superhero that comes from the ashes type of thing. So this is a really, really cool one that's just been on my radar. Next up is Kaiji Gambling Apocalypse 1 to 6. I think this is up to date right now. Weeabra loves this series. You know, I am a big fan of Texas Hold'em and poker, which is why I picked this up. But right now, I keep putting this off and I need to read it because I feel like I'm really, really going to enjoy it. Next up is Levius 1 to 3, complete in this hardcover. I have no desire to read this right now. Cyberpunk boxing type of thing. So I just don't know. Maybe I'll read it eventually. I don't know. I just gonna keep putting it back. Next up is Land of the Lustrous 1 to 11. This is up to date. I have not read this series and I really, really want to. The art looks beautiful. The story seems super unique and different. And if there's a series that I like is a unique and different series, kind of gives me that Girls Last Tour vibe. So definitely want to check this one out sooner rather than later. Next up is Made in Abyss, volumes 1 to 10, up to date. I have read all of Made in Abyss, and let me just say, the world is fantastic. Number 7 or number 8 manga of all time. The characters are great. It is so dark, so gritty, so messed up that all you want to do is keep turning the page because you just have to find out what happens through each layer. It is fantastic. I highly recommend you either check out the manga or check out the anime. I heard it's a great adaptation. Evan Call writes the music for it and he is a fantastic composer. Next up is my only Gundam series, Mobile Suit Gundam The Origins. I just picked this up, volumes 1 to 24. So this is complete here in these beautiful vertical hardcovers. I'm so glad to have this. I really want to get into Gundam. I love robots. I heard this is just a great kind of starting point between this and Thunderbolt. Eventually I will get Thunderbolt, but for right now I'm going to go ahead and stick with this and read it very, very soon because I really, really want to get knowing on why I should go ahead and start doing Gunplas. Moving to this shelf right here, let me just show you this off really fast. This is my Neon Genesis Ultimate Edition. So it comes with the box and the art book and the 2 Blu-ray cases, a little lanyard and a little paperweight type of thing. There are only 5,000 of these made in the United States. It also came with those art cards, which are right over there, and these nice 12 by 12 art boards that are actually on my staircase going down into the living room. So this is really nice. I'm glad to have it. Let's keep going here. Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind by Hayao Miyazaki. This is kind of his magnum opus, his like treasure that he spent many, many years on in these beautiful hardcovers by Viz, 1 to 7 complete. I have not read this, but I have watched a lot of his Ghibli movies, so I definitely want to check this out really, really soon. This is the White Whistle from Made in Abyss, so I'm really glad to have this. This is actually like an officially licensed thing, so this is like really, really cool. Next up here, this is my Taiyo Matsumoto shelf. I had never read any of his stuff before until last week, and I am just so hooked. I love him as a mangaka. Writes amazing things. Let's start here. Cats of the Louvre 1 to 2 complete in this beautiful, beautiful hardcover by Viz. This is the same like Louvre kind of thing that the Naoki Urasawa thing I was talking about at the beginning of the video. This is like, you think it's about cats, right? And you think it's super boring, but there's supernatural in there. You've got cats doing really weird stuff. Definitely a pickup for sure. Number 5, the newest release by Viz, 1 to 8 complete. Have not read this. Sci-fi, post-apocalyptic. Of course I'm gonna love it. Ping Pong, 1 to 4 complete. I have not read this either, but this is like my next series to read on my TBR. I want to read Ping Pong. I've only heard great things. I heard that the anime is one of the best anime out there, so I definitely want to read the source material. And last but not least, a prized gem in my collection that I didn't think I was going to find. Tekken Concrete Black and White volumes 1 to 3 complete. I found this in a store in Michigan, just sitting there, and this is severely out of print right now. So to get this for retail was crazy. I love this series. That's what got me into Matsumoto last week. I read it. I was like, wow, you know, you see this action thriller, but it's so much deeper than that. You've got these boys and you learn things about family and compassion and like keeping your hometown pure. I mean, it's just fantastic. I absolutely love it. Alright, next up here is Pandora Hearts Volumes 1 all the way to, I think it goes to Volume 26, but this is complete. This is from the box set. I do not know anything about Pandora Hearts, so I can't tell you anything about it, but what I will say are that these editions are absolutely beautiful. They look really, really nice on the shelf. But what I can tell you from the same creator, this is Crimson Shell. This is a one-shot, very first work published for this mangaka here in the United States. I found this off of Facebook. I never heard of it before. I read it. It was super, super unique. It wasn't the best thing in the world, but it was a good glimpse into the art style and also the writing style of this mangaka. So highly recommend if you are a fan of Pandora Hearts and their other series, Case Study of Vanitas. Next up is Yukimura's work, Makoto Yukimura's works. Now, such a great mangaka. Right here we have Planetes Volumes 1 to 4. This is complete in the Dark Horse omnibuses. I love Planetes. If you like slice of life, if you like sci-fi space, if you like to think a little bit, then this is the manga for you. It is fantastic, super underrated. Next up here we have Vinland Saga Volumes 1 all the way, if I jump over here, all the way to 12, and this goes to volume 22. This is up to date. Basically, it's weird. I read volumes 1 and 2, or 1 to 4 here, and I got through the prequel arc and then into this like newer thing, and honestly, I really enjoyed it, and I just stopped. I don't know why. This is one that I will read by the end of this year. I promise you. I love Vikings. I love that show. I don't know if it's on HBO or something like that, but the show was really good. So obviously this has nothing to do with that, but the whole kind of aspect of Vikings is just super cool. And before we move on here, let me show you two more things. This is Q Hayashida's cover variant for the Last Days of Ant-Man comic book. This is really, really cool. And we have Mud and Sludge. This is the Dorohedoro art book. This is fantastic as well. I go over this a little bit in one of my videos. I can't exactly remember which one, but this is definitely one you should pick up if you are a Dorohedoro fan. As we go over here, this is like my cart that I use for all my little extra things that I need to package manga. But I do want to show you guys 3 series that I don't have on the shelf because I plan on selling them off, or I'm selling them currently. So let me know if you are interested in these. Yoshi no Zakura, volumes 1 to 3. This is complete. Apollo's Song, Osamu Tezuka, and Pompo the Cinephile. All 3 of these were really, really great reads. I just don't see myself rereading them anytime soon. Okay, let's keep going here. We have Record of Ragnarok, volumes 1 and 2. This is up to date. I have read both volumes, and I'll be honest with you, I think it's a little bit overhyped, but if you are looking for an action, burly men beating each other up, can't go wrong with this. But other than that, I just don't see any more plot progression past that, to be honest with you. Next up, we have a very underrated series, Robo Sapiens Tales of Tomorrow 1 to 2 Omnibus Complete. This won an award. I can't remember which one it was, but this is fantastic. If you want to thinker about like life and technology and how our world is kind of spiraling out of control, this is a fantastic one to read. Also, another thinker manga is Censor's Pious Lie. This is volumes 1 to 2 of an 8-volume series, brand new release by Inio Asano's wife, actually. And this is basically a social experiment on sexual abuse and victim mindset and abuser mindset. Very, very interesting. I really, really enjoyed this first volume. Next up is Tokyo Ghoul 1 to 14 complete in the Monster Barnes & Noble editions. I am so glad to have these. These are really, really beautiful. Great way to read Tokyo Ghoul. And what I will say about Tokyo Ghoul is that the manga is much better than the anime, but the ending still left a lot to be desired. Next up here is Tokyo Ghoul Re volumes 1 all the way to 16. This is complete. I got the box set for this. I plan on reading this in October. Next up is Yoshitoki Oma's To Your Eternity volumes 1 to 16 up to date. I have read all of this. If you want a manga that's going to make you cry and it's going to make you reflect on your friends and your family and just the passage of time and what that can do for your relationships, I highly recommend To Your Eternity. It's also a very interesting kind of historical strong fiction. Like, I get history vibes from it, but it's definitely fiction. Really, really cool. I enjoy this one a lot. I know a lot of people don't like the modern arc, but I like it. It's not as good as this stuff, but it's still pretty good. And by the same creator, we have the Silent Voice hardcover collector's edition volumes 1 to 3.5. So there's one more coming out here. I like this a lot, and the reason why I like this edition is because it looks like a yearbook, and like that's the vibe I think they were going for, since it was this is a school manga. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. This should be on everybody's shelf. It's like my number 7 manga of all time. I mean, if you are looking for a manga that talks about bullying and disabilities and friendship and redemption, this is the manga for you. Okay, next up is a new series, Run on Your New Legs, Volume 1. 5-volume series about a boy who is trying to rehabilitate after an injury, and he gets new legs, or a new leg. And so, I love sports. I love learning about disabilities. I love comeback stories. So super excited for this one. Next up is my Takahiko Inoue shelf. Now, I will preface this by saying I have not read any of his stuff, including Slam Dunk or Real or Vagabond. So brand new experience for me. I'm hoping that eventually I get around to this stuff. Real, volumes 1, 3, 6, 7, 14, and 15. 1, 2, and 3 were out of stock. People were saying even it was out of print for a long time. With the release of volume 15, Viz has shown that they're reprinting a lot of the older volumes. So I got volumes 1 and 3 from Right Stuff. I have 2 on the way. So I'm already going to have the first 3 volumes, and those were the hardest to find. So I'm super excited to have that, especially this volume 3. It was going for like couple $100 or over $100, and I got this for like $9, so that's always fantastic. Then we have here Vagabond, the beautiful samurai series, volumes 1 all the way to 37, so that is up to date. This is on hiatus. I don't know when we're going to get more of this, but what I will say is that these VizBig editions are beautiful, and volumes 37 is pretty severely out of print for some reason. They just did like one print run and then they didn't print anymore. So that was really, really interesting. Next up is A School Frozen in Time volumes 1 to 4 complete. The art is by the same mangaka who did Your Lie in April and Sayonara Football. I have not read this yet. School mystery murder thriller. So I just can't wait. Short series, so I'm excited to just get into it. Ajin volumes 1 to 17 complete. I have read all of this, and this is a great starter seinen series for any of your like really hardcore male readers or hardcore female readers. Like, they just want super fast action with a crazy story and a great antagonist. This is one that I would recommend to most everybody as a starter seinen manga. So highly recommend Ajin. A lot of fun, and I'm glad to have got this for such a great price because these are expensive. Speaking of manga I got for a fantastic price, we have Battle Royale volumes 1 to 15, as well as the Battle Royale Angel's Border kind of spin-off of the main series. This series is fantastic. I really enjoyed Battle Royale. Just think of like Hunger Games, but like 100 times more messed up, and that's what you're gonna get. It's a death game thing, and I know Battle Royale was first. It inspired Hunger Games and a lot of those death game things after it. But this is just such a great series. It just hasn't aged well because, kids killing each other isn't really like the best topic to print. So will we ever see a reprint of Battle Royale? I really don't think so. So I am happy to have this set. It is one of the first manga I ever read, actually, believe it or not, back in 2019. So it's a prize in my collection. Next up here is my Shuzo Oshimi section. We have Blood on the Tracks volumes 1 to 8 up to date. I love this series. I love the dynamic between the mom and the son. It makes me nervous. It makes my heart race, which makes me want to keep reading more. This is a complete page turner and a fantastic Shuzo Oshimi thing. Honestly, it's my favorite Shuzo Oshimi work out of all of them, which is interesting because it varies for a lot of people. A lot of people love Inside Mari. A lot of people love Flowers of Evil. A lot of people love Happiness. But for me, it is Blood on the Tracks. Next up is The Flowers of Evil, the complete set in the Omnibus 1 to 14 I read this, I enjoyed it, not as much as Blood on the Tracks, but I do think that it is a very, very complete story with a really strong ending and just kind of a nice social experiment on teenager mindset and kind of the craziness that happens with our lives and how it really just doesn't seem as big as you think it is. So very interesting read nonetheless. Happiness, volumes 1 to 10, complete vampire manga. I have not read this yet. I finally pieced this together after waiting for about a year for that volume 6. So this is one that I will definitely read sooner rather than later. Down here we have Inside Mari, volumes 1 to 8. This is up to date. I have not read this yet. Volume 9 comes out sometime in July or August. Once I get that, I will read all of this. This is a body swap manga from what I've heard, and this Inside Mari volume is upside down. So let's change that together. It'll give me OCD if I don't do that. So yeah, I'm super excited about this. Like I said, a lot of people think that this is a very underrated Shuzo Ishimi work. So I am excited to get into this one. And last but not least, we have Shuzo Ishimi's brand new release, Welcome Back, Alice. This is also currently serializing alongside Blood on the Tracks. This is volume 1. I just got this in a couple days ago, and I plan on reading this very, very soon. Next up here is Bungo Stray Dogs, volumes 1 all the way to 21, up to date with the exception of volume 14. I just need that to come back in stock at some point. I know nothing about Bungo Stray Dogs. All I know is that my friend said I had to pick it up. He loved the anime for it. It's super dark, it's super gritty, kind of gives me like detective vibes, which I really like, and I flipped through and I've really enjoyed the artwork in it. So yeah, this is kind of a blind buy set, but I knew that I was always going to want to pick up Bungo Stray Dogs, and I had found a lot on Facebook with the deal I just could not pass up. Next up here we have Colorless, volume 1, brand new series about a world or a society where there is no color left in the world, except that they use little glimpses of color for weaponry and stuff like that. So it's this fight, this battle over color. But there is a girl that has a human body when all the humans in the world have been demorphed and like changed and stuff like that. Very interesting, pretty good first volume. It's like Dorohedoro and The Country Without Humans, except worse. So speaking of a better manga, Country Without Humans, volumes 1 and 2. This is up to date and I have read both these volumes. This is fantastic. Slice of life, post-apocalyptic world. She's the only girl left in this world for some reason, and she lives in this society with robots. Really interesting. There's something out to get her. Why are they out to get her? Next up is my Aki Iri section. Very underrated mangaka. First up is volumes 1 to 5, up to date, Go With the Clouds, North by Northwest, a mystery manga set in Iceland where he can talk to a car. Very interesting manga. I love this so much. I just think the artwork is really some of the most pretty artwork in manga. This is a lot of fun if you are looking for something kind of mystery thriller. Next up is their fantasy series, Ran in the Grey World, volumes 1 to 7, complete in these Viz signature editions. I have not read this yet. This is what I plan on reading hopefully this month or next month for sure. And then I will have read all of their stuff published in English. Next up is ID Invaded, volumes 1 to 3 complete. I did a review of this on my channel. This is actually a side story to the original anime series, so this is brand new material. Just basically adds one more little mystery. And it was good. It was really good, but I read these as they were coming out. You need to read all 3 at once so that you can get the mystery. Next up is Girl from the Other Side plus Love on the Other Side, volumes 1 to 11 complete in the singles. I do not plan on picking up the deluxe editions because I have all of the singles and I got them for a relatively good price, so I cannot complain. I have only heard great things about this manga. This is a manga that I want to read in the next 2 months for sure. The Saga of Tanya the Evil. This is an isekai, which I did not know. I have volumes 1 to 5 in the manga format. The original format is the light novel. There are like 15 or so manga volumes out currently. I don't know when I plan on reading this. I picked it up because I wanted to read it and then I just never did. So it's just sitting here in the corner. Okay, right down here we have some miscellaneous things. I have Mouse, the graphic novel, in the hardcover 2-in-1. I also have a spare volume of Spirit Circle. I have a library copy of Saga right here. I also have the Loot Crate exclusive of K-On! And the Loot Crate exclusive of Battle Angel Alita. So yeah, some things I hopefully plan on doing something with these at some point in the future. Okay, so we're on my last section here. These are all my light novels. I do have my anime collection down here, but I'm actually going to save that for another video because I just want to be able to go more in depth into the anime that I just can't afford to do it for this manga collection video. So we have all of Monogatari, all the way, all 3 seasons, final season, first season, second season. I have read the first season, and I will say that this right here, Kizu Monogatari, is one of the best light novels or best pieces of media I've ever read. I literally read this in one go and I could not put it down. This was fantastic. Great way to get into the Monogatari series. Next up is Classroom of the Elite Volumes 1 all the way to 11 with a couple of those half volumes in there. So this is up to date. I want to read this, but right now it's just on the backlog. You know, eventually I'll read it. I've only heard great things about it. I did watch the first season of the anime, and I really enjoyed that. Mushoku Tensei, volumes 1 to 4. I think they're like 15 or 16 out. I picked these up just on a whim because I wanted an isekai to read, and then I never read them. So speaking of another isekai I wanted to read, I didn't get to it. Sama Spider So What light novel, volumes 1 and 2. I have not read that yet. At Night I Become a Monster, volume 1, or just one. It's a one shot. This is by the same creator who did I Want to Eat Your Pancreas and I Had the Same Dream Again. Now here is a light novel that I am reading. This is 86. I'm currently reading this 1 to 10 up to date. I am through volume 6. This is fantastic. If you like mechas and sci-fi, crazy post-apocalyptic world with crazy politics, this is it. This is a fantastic series. I highly recommend this for anybody. Next up is a light novel that I am going to read very soon. I just got this in the other day. The Tunnel to Summer, The Exit of Goodbyes. Kind of gives me Makoto Shinkai vibes, to be honest with you, but I have heard amazing things about this. This has really good ratings, and so this just seems right up my alley. It was really kind of a cover buy, but it's basically about a girl who finds this cave that has some supernatural things happen to her. So really interesting. Next up is 2 volumes here of There's No Way a Side Character Like Me Could Be Popular, right? Volumes 1 to 2. This is not up to date. Volume 3 just came out, but I could not grab a copy before it went out of stock. I really enjoyed this. This is a rom-com, high school rom-com. You know, kind of cookie cutter, but I just really like it. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I can turn my brain off. So I really enjoy this. Highly recommend this. This is by Tentai Books. And last but not least, Goblin Slayer light novel volume 1. I don't know, I'll probably never read that. And of course, before we end this video, I have to show you guys what I picked up yesterday in between recording, because Books A Million has a buy 2 get 1 free and I have no impulse control. So we have Mao 1 to 5 by Rumiko Takahashi. I know nothing about this, I just know that this is her currently serializing work, so super excited to have that. I also got here Bungo Stray Dogs Beast Volume 1. This is a spin-off series of the original Bungo Stray Dogs. Cover looks super sick. Can't wait to get into this one. And we also got some more Rumiko Takahashi stuff. This is Mermaid Saga 3-volume series. Horror, mermaids, seems super interesting. I've been super intrigued with her work since reading her short story compilation, Came the Mirror, and other short tales. So this is super exciting to have. Last but not least, I have a 3-volume omnibus here. This is unofficial Hatsune mix, so Hatsune Miku and basically her and her Vocaloid friends like doing Vocaloid slice of lifey things. So I really like I said at the beginning of the video, I want to get into her, and that's why I asked for some recommendations at the beginning. I can't wait to read this one. And if you somehow made it to this part of the video, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is the end of the manga collection video for 2022. I can't wait to see how this expands literally in like 1 week because the summer sale is starting. But I really love my collection. I love this hobby. I love this community, and I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for continuing to support this channel and for the years to come. As always, if you enjoy my videos, hit that like button, tap the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so that you know when more of my videos come out, and I will see you in the next one. Take care now. Bye-bye.